Hold on. This is not a Halloween mask anymore. This is a protective outer layer for my ego body. So that as this gains the sheer force that I can internalize the process safely behind whatever unnatural form of material this is. It's clear equipped, and look. You have to cut out from the nose section of goggle that is put there. It doesn't go through your nose. It doesn't give way so you can fit it. It's improper at best. Now, it's like made for some sort of paintball war version, which is why I say retrofitting it into what I'm doing is acceptable. What are you talking about? This fucking craziness? More craziness? This is not craziness if one can see. Now, it's not likely you can be one of these people. Now, maybe I have 88 people. Maybe I fucking burn out on the road, start time traveling, using 88 people in the form of a message to myself that says, you've achieved 88, fucking hit the fucking thermonuclear flux capacitor. The flux capacitor is a real fucking thing. You want to talk about real shit? I've been the flux capacitor. You could ask Red Feather. It's not that I don't respect the Red Feather. No. I don't want to be misunderstood on this. The paradigm shift is real. And the new paradigm is being installed simulcast as the other one gets ripped off like a Band-Aid. Too much? Well, so what? I guess we all have to grow up, fucker. Thunder Wizard had this same message. He got an email from somebody that, for whatever reason, and maybe he didn't catch this, might have been where they were coming from, they highly shamed him regarding this narrative of this, you know what's going on in the greater world. This is not the opportunity that exists when you get this sort of chaos come, is that everyone's focused on it. The lack of attention that is afforded to beam you from the low Earth orbit that would normally occur, or you see people just flying around, bicycles flying with big balloons. Why do we not live in a world of the freedom imagined by the 18th century? Human. Weren't those Americans too? Did they not make it through that fucking industrial birth? Sure, most of the men were dead. The women worked at the factories, hooked on opioids. They came home and half the time they overdosed their kid using their titty milk. That's a fun fact from then. It might have something to do with what they call the war on opioids, which is the biggest fucking joke. It's only because doctors became drug dealers that's the war that they're having. It's on drug dealers and called doctors. And we've had these people in our society the whole time. They're neither doctor nor drug dealer. They're some sort of admixture of the two. So they would take the same oath, Hippocratic oath, with their fingers crossed, and they would be doing a mudra of a whole nother shit that they're not familiar with. They would be keying into the archetype Cthulhu. Now look, I don't want to be the first one to say this, and I know that I am. If you do any sort of oath, Nancy Pelosi, look, I'm looking at you, Nancy Pelosi. You've been wearing this is twice I've seen Nancy Pelosi appear before the nation with on her left side, covering over her heart, perfect, was the stabbing implement to that bitch's heart. If you take an oath, office, otherwise, whatever, you have your fingers crossed, you have a caduceus, that's a technical device right there that definitely would, if you're touching it and it's on you, you better be careful. It may be a random strike. I'm not saying this would be something that would just happen to anybody just going down the road. That's crazy. This would be done specifically on this case I would bring with like the Nancy Pelosi. This bitch. Now, you get me wrong, I don't personally know her, anything about her, and it's mostly what I'm hearing when she speaks. At least with this mask on, I can lisp in the proper reptilian fashion. Thunder Wizard, he says the whole agenda, he doesn't call it medicine. He says something quite unexpected that goes right on back underwater into the deep truth. He says it's a reptilian anointing. I'm like, who told him this? Who's made him aware of this? That's why. Are you being heard? You know, I don't even know. Half the time this thing records within range. And I apologize to anyone trying to understand this strange steampunk. But what I want to give you is a spacesuit costume idea. I got part of my spacesuit, and it was the fucking steampunk formal upperwear attire, consisting of the fancy vest, check, yes, we got that, the long coat part, check, golden buttons, not made of real gold, some sort of symbiotic living metal that's not gold, and it's very sneaky. It's very sneaky. You have to be careful with this. So you put this on. Now you can attach the face, and you would be propelled immediately, high velocity, flying through the air. But it's not like physical flying yet. But it's fucking close. And, you know, for practical needs of a person like myself, I have practical needs of this. If I'm going to fly face first at high velocity, then I need to land. I can do it. I've gone through the motions and taken the appropriate steps. I mean, you might want to have a car to take to HEB, load up groceries, but you're not going to Tahiti in that car. It's not going to happen. You're not going to Barbados on that car. Ability to do A to B. It's this other point, C. A, B, C. C is the point you get when you cut out the middleman. When you cut out the middleman by eliminating the tire, the oil, the gas, these big fucking Gorgon-ass monsters that are choking society in its fucking life, holding us all back like retarded fucking 18-year-old second graders. This is Big Three. Now, Big Three are beginning to condense into a form untenable to. They're just going to beat them up. They're going to swarm over them once they can condense. And the problem with being a robber baron type, even when you get a couple generations out, you're still going to have the problems that once the people that they've identified to be ants, and let's use one of these. Who was it? The Queen of England had an old dude that was her husband, not the King of England. Someone asked him what he wanted to be upon reincarnation. Do you know what he said? He said coronavirus. Oh, how about that? How about that? That son of a bitch. Who, in their mind, if not reptile, at least of the Edomite bloodline, because that's what they are, the Edomites. They changed their name sometime in Europe's past. The German branch of their leading familial blood just starts speaking English and moves over to England and takes over there. That's not the original aristocrats that belong in the head position for the House of England. And maybe you did not know. It doesn't really matter anyway. It's not what you know, it's what you prove and do. So yes, the right costume. Do you think maybe I'll go to Halloween and I'll wear Templar Knight suit? Fuck. Templar Knight, formal or basic, whatever is the standard issue given. Now, of course, you've got the lieutenants and the higher ranking costume because it is black and gold. But the common everyman version of Knight Templar was the guy that didn't do protection of monks on their travel and pilgrims. And you would draw upon that, and you get that somebody didn't fulfill an honorable duty, and they retain some sort of impact. That impact is still a power switch you can plug into. And think about it, it's not too far. I mean, even some people here that are just wasting time while life happens are some of the most incredible soon-to-be seeds just bursting out, putting that first taproot into this fertile-ass space that is starting to potentiate. It's mind over matter. And if you don't mind, you might not matter. Just saying.